Have you ever looked at your life and just felt, I don't know, kind of stuck? Well, that feeling is exactly what we're going to unpack today. We're diving into Andrew Donovan's book, Motivate Yourself, to understand where that feeling comes from and, more importantly, what we can actually do about it. So let's get right into it. It's a question that can really sneak up on you, right? In those quiet moments. You just look around at your life, your job, your day-to-day routine, and you ask yourself, is this it? And as the book points out, where you put the emphasis on that question, well, it says everything about how you're feeling. Is it a question filled with doubt, or is it a statement like, wow, I've arrived? Steve Jobs had this really powerful way of checking in with himself. Every single morning, he'd ask himself this exact question. Just think about that for a second. It's so simple, but it's like having your own personal compass. And when that needle keeps pointing to no day after day, well, that's a huge red flag that you're heading in the wrong direction. So, what is that feeling of being stuck or dissatisfied? The book actually gives it a name. It's called living in the gap. And all that means is it's the space between the life you're living right now and the life you know you really want to be living. This right here, this is the gap. It's that feeling when you have these huge dreams, right? You want to start a business or learn an instrument or get in shape, but instead, you just end up scrolling on your phone. You can literally see the fulfilling life you want, but you feel stuck over here, on the other side of this canyon, just hanging out in your comfort zone. So, how do you even know if you're in the gap? The book has this kind of quick gut check. As these next few questions pop up, just be honest with yourself. First up, do you feel unfulfilled and demotivated a lot of the time? Okay, next one. Does it feel like you never have any real time for yourself? And what about that inner critic? That little voice inside your head that's always telling you you're not good enough, you can't do it. And the last one, and this is a big one. Do you hide parts of who you really are because you're afraid of what other people will think? So, what's the takeaway here? It's pretty simple, really. If you found yourself nodding along, answering yes to those questions, that's a sign. And the more times you said yes, the wider that gap is between the life you have and the one you could be living. Okay, so what's the big deal about living in the gap long term? What's the real cost? Well, it's actually way more than just feeling a little off. To really understand the stakes, the book points to this incredibly powerful study that shows us what we can learn about living from those who are dying. This comes from the work of Bronnie Ware. She was a nurse who spent years, working in palliative care, sitting with patients in their final weeks, and she started recording their most common regrets. What she found was just, wow. It wasn't about not seeing the pyramids or not bungee jumping. The regrets were so much more intimate, so much more human than that. So when you look at these top 5 regrets, you really start to see a pattern, don't you? It's not about money or fame. It's about courage. The courage to be yourself, the courage to say how you feel, the courage to prioritize people and joy over just work. This is what's really at stake when we stay stuck in that gap. All right, I know, that's some heavy stuff. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. It's not too late. The book gives us a super clear path to close that gap. And the first step isn't some huge, impossible task. It all starts with one single decision. I absolutely love this quote because it just flips the script on everything. It doesn't matter where you are right now, what your life looks like today. That's just your starting line. Where you end up, that's totally up to you. And this is such a powerful idea. We always think change takes a long time, that we have to wait for the right moment. But the book argues that's just a myth. Real, true transformation doesn't have anything to do with time. It begins the exact second you make a real, committed decision that things are gonna be different. So, okay, you've made the decision. Now what? Well, the book lays out this awesome 3-step journey. First, you have to discover yourself. Because how can you build a fulfilling life if you don't even know what fulfillment means to you? Then you free yourself from all those negative thoughts holding you back. And only then, once you're clear and free, can you truly motivate your life and start building that new path one step at a time. So that's really what it all boils down to. When you look back at those 5 regrets, the big takeaway is that you have the power right now to choose a different outcome for yourself. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What one regret will you choose to avoid starting today?